So, welcome back. This is, I guess, we're switching up the podcast to Zombie Squad podcast or freelance freestyle on Zombie Squad on Dead On Pictures. And I'm here with online streaming over the Wi-Fi airwaves with Mickey during this quarantine. So, what is it, week 3 of this quarantine? Week 2?
I mean, I can go. I think this whole thing started December 31st in Wuhan. So we're not exactly 3 weeks in, but we're probably close to like 10 weeks in now.
Right.
But I mean, in America, it's probably like, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's 3 weeks. As far as Maryland goes,
I mean, we don't even have that many cases. We have like 150, 60 cases or something.
yeah, the second I brought my baby boy home, it was like quarantine.
Which was the end of February 29th.
Well, he was born on the 29th. But we stayed in the hospital for 4 days. So I think we brought him home on the 4th. I think the bris was on the 8th, but it was pretty much like a soft quarantine on the 8th because the bris was on the 8th. So I'd say
March 8th. Okay.
So I'd say the quarantine happened a week after the 8th.
So on March 11th, Trump blocked continental Europe travel from the U.S. and visitors from continental Europe. And he said anybody that's, for 30 days, he's going to halt travel from European countries except for Britain. And that, I think it was the day the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a pandemic. And that's when stocks continued to plunge after they made that announcement on March 11th.
Buy up all the stocks, baby.
I'll tell you right now.
Buy up everything.
If there ever was a time to not play it safe, which, index fund is the safe bet, but if there ever was a time to pick an individual stock, which is normally considered gambling during most of like a healthy bull market, it's definitely going to be Tesla. Just went back below around 420, 400. You got your airlines are down 300%, except for like Southwest, and the small ones are likely to face bankruptcy and even, greater losses. And oil is another big one. Oil is if you've been to the
one's driving, bro.
Well, travel's down 90%,
95% across the world, bro.
I mean, there's no. I'm gonna go down the street and get in my car and drive to, some random spot, like road trips. Like there's no business trips. There's nothing but to 7-Eleven and back, pretty much.
Yeah. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, me and the wife and the baby drove down to Bethesda to check out the cherry blossoms on this little road where like these white cherry blossoms bloom. Drove through it. It was crowded as fuck. I don't know why. Then we came home. And that was it. And that's about the extent of our driving. We've gone to her.
So what day did you get the coronavirus? Exactly what day was that?
The day I got the coronavirus? I didn't get it, the coronavirus. I don't think I have it.
Yeah, you were hanging out with a bunch of people at the.
No, we didn't leave the car. We didn't get out of the car.
But it was crowded.
I should have specified. We drove through. We never got out of the car. We never even stopped, really, except for a stop sign or a stoplight.
Just keep driving, Daddy.
All these idiots walking around, jogging, walking their doggies, sitting at the park, kids at the playground, on the monkey bars. Yep.
I gotta say, I feel like I owe myself time to watch like post-apocalyptic or like futuristic, like Blade Runner,
right.
like
yeah, exactly.
Like this is like the beginning of like what could be that like dystopian, like like who knows what's gonna happen. Like most likely things will just go back to the way it was. But
it's definitely like season 1 of Walking Dead. There was a movie Matt Damon did called Contagion, which is exactly like what's going on. Steven Soderbergh movie.
everybody thinks that movie, like some people thought that movie just came out like this year because of what was going on. I was
No,
like, no, no,
it's like 10 years old or
it's
something.
an old
It's
movie.
old. It's old. Yeah. Back when Soderbergh was still making movies, he like semi-retired.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. He can retire. He can probably piss movies in his sleep, dude. It's not even. He's just so talented. That guy. I remember, he was part of the West Wing, I think, also, which is
Soderbergh?
wasn't he part of the West
You're
Wing?
thinking of Sorkin, Aaron Sorkin.
I am thinking of Sorkin. You're talking about Steven
I'm
Soderbergh.
talking about Steven Soderbergh, who did Ocean's 11, 12, 13,
Okay,
Traffic,
those are two names you
The
probably never
Limey.
get mixed up. Right.
He just did this movie called Unsane with an iPhone 8. But he came out of retirement to make Unsane on the iPhone 8, and I think he like executive produced a couple of series on Netflix or Hulu or something recently. But he's, for the most part, I think he retired. He's kind of fed up with the Hollywood system.
Yeah.
I mean, but dude, it's crazy.
Speaking of the Hollywood system, what's his face just got the coronavirus?
Tom
Harvey
Hanks?
Weinstein in jail.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I wish I was making this up. Harvey Weinstein got the coronavirus while he was locked up in jail.
All right, hold on a second.
I'm gonna pull up the article and read it to you right now. Don't you worry about that, sweetheart.
Can you share it? Or I can share it. I can share it. Hold on.
Yeah, no, I got it. I can share it.
Harvey Weinstein. Coronavirus? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Yep. Test positive for coronavirus in prison. He was moved to a new prison last week. Karma's a bitch.
All of a sudden, this guy wants to walk. Okay, I got it up. So all of a sudden, this guy wants to walk with a walker. You son of a bitch.
He does it every time.
Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced film producer who was convicted of 2 felony sex crimes in the case that helped start the Me Too movement, has contracted the coronavirus, according to 2 people with knowledge of the matter.
Sentenced to 23 years in prison.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Convicted of 2 test positive. One of the people said the producer did not have symptoms and was under close observation. It was not clear why he had been tested. He's 68.
Because money still counts in jail, man.
Yeah. So there's that. So how has this quarantine, this coronavirus, obviously there's a health scare, but on top of that, the whole quarantine and the whole worldwide 95% worldwide shutdown, essentially. How has that impacted you individually, personally, and professionally?
I mean, I got to say, I've been waiting for my post-financial literacy first world meltdown of the markets for the past 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally understand why people are freaked out by the idea of why people would capitalize on a downturn in a market, but that is absolutely what everybody in the world of wealth or money or business look forward to, because that's when everything gets reset. So personally, not really. I mean, I may have lost a client here or there. You know, people are obviously getting a little bit, tighter with money because of the situation. So, so professionally, not much. Personally, not much. I mean, I just think it's an amazing, where people are scared, I see an incredible leveling out and evening of the playing field, where people that maybe couldn't start a business can now start a business because there's just a lot less competition out there right now because nobody can run a business. So now you can really get creative and start trying to leverage and flex a little bit on the internet or build something on the internet because you have time, you're locked in the house. You know, I think it's great. I think we're seeing all these amazing, you know, pollution is disappearing in China, and like all these waterway systems are looking great. And like I think it's like it's a really bad thing. I think the natural reaction is like aversive, and like we have to like freak out because we're gonna like die. But the fact of the matter is like the world is like a very efficient system, and like if we cause this shit by killing livestock, and it's happened many times in China before, and they've shut down those markets before, and then, you know, for the sake of like, you know, profit, open them back up to, you know, these wet markets up to the public. It's kind of karma working, I feel like, and the Earth's better off.
And not to cut you off and not to divert from like, I want to get back to your story, but you raised a good point. You're saying pollution is down. So I'm sure I know you and I, of course, I know I saw it. Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. I know you saw it. I'm sure a lot of whoever's watching this has seen it. And this is basically the Thanos project. I think maybe it's karma. Maybe it's biblical. Maybe it's just dumb luck. Maybe it's more of
it's not luck. It's very science.
You think do you think it was a construct of man, like it was a criminal, it was a terrorist attack, it was a biological attack?
I mean, you're always going to have your conspiracy theories start to boil up at these times, but I totally think the Earth is perfect. I don't think it's biological warfare. And if anybody thinks that, like, I don't disagree with them. I can't prove it, nor can they. But I think the Earth is as perfect. Like, if we start doing too much, if we start consuming too much, the Earth has a viral system.
So it's just like The Happening, M. Night's movie. Did you ever see that movie?
Is that the one? I've seen them all. Which one
is that? With Mark Wahlberg, where people were just killing themselves. And so what was happening was the plants, spoiler alert, I'm sure people have seen this.
25-year-old movie, yeah.
I think it's a 20-year-old movie or a 15-year-old movie. But all plants were putting out this pheromone because of pollution, because of overpopulation, because of this and that and the other thing. The plants are putting out a pheromone causing humans to kill themselves. And it was like a drop off of like 50% of the population of planet Earth.
Yeah. I think it's the same idea. I think
if it's not man-made, it is quite possible that it is just a natural thing. It's a flu on top of a cold, on top of hepatitis.
Do you know how it happened? How it happened?
I haven't. No,
it's literally the fecal matter, or blood, or snot, or whatever other liquid that can come from a mammal in one of these wet markets in Wuhan. Stacks upon stacks of animals on top of each other in cages that are open. Essentially, they can drip whatever liquid.
Oh yeah. So it's basically basically a virus that grew out of out of sewage of unsanitary conditions.
Well, no, not kind of, like halfway. Yes, it came out of taking animals from all corners of the earth that are normally never in the same ecosystem together. So they all have different bacteria and different, And so when you mix those things together.
So when you're saying you mix bacteria together, you do get a virus, because it's a virus, not a bacteria.
Well, when you right, it is it's viral. So when you mix certain kinds of bacteria together, I don't know the science behind this, but from what I understand, if they're foreign enough, they can create a virus, because the Earth doesn't intend for that to happen. Only humans can make that happen.
Sure.
So if we do it enough, if we start aggravating bacterial systems, like our entire body, like our brains, most of what our brain does is based upon our gut bacteria.
Sure.
Our health, gut bacteria. Most of everything that we are as humans,
you got to have a healthy gut.
We're bacteria by DNA.
We are bacteria.
We are DNA. Yeah.
Right.
So bacteria is kind of like everything.
Right.
So we fuck with bacteria, viruses.
And it's going to fuck with us back.
Right.
But basically, this is probably more, this is probably more The Happening than it is, the Endgame project or the Thanos project. But what you'll see happening is, it's the culling. You know what a culling is? Culling the herd.
Mm-mm.
Culling the herd is like you got too much deer. So hunters go back there and they start taking out deer to
Like
cull.
depopulation.
I think
Yeah.
it's cull, culling
Right.
the herd.
Okay.
And so that's what this is. That's what it's doing. And not to make light of it, and not to be unsympathetic or inhumane, but it's taking out old people, and it's taking out irresponsible people. And there's a hilarious video on TikTok about this dude voiceovered all these kids at spring break. These fucking idiots still went to spring break.
I mean, we were pretty dumb in our day, but like,
But there was no coronavirus out when we went to
but I
spring
think if
break.
we had a coronavirus, I think even us, we'd be like, I don't know if I want to go to
I'd be
spring
like,
break.
I'm gonna stay inside.
I mean,
I'm gonna
yeah,
stay inside.
I think our generations are definitely different. Like this generation is definitely different than last, and so on and so forth with every generation before. But
Not to mention a 3-week old son. Not to mention a wife.
right,
Not to mention, I got a career and I've got money saved up, luckily, but I got to like do this, that, and the other thing. But if I was 22, 21, 22, 23, I wouldn't be going to spring break right now. And there's a really funny video. I wish I saved it. I don't know how to pull this fucking shit up. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think I can pull it up. Look at this. I love this app, TikTok. Watch. Oh, I can't see. I can't use it. See. Anyway, forget it. But anyway, some dude did a voiceover of of like all these spring breakers. I like your background. That's a better background. Is that your ad? So okay, so you're doing so back to you, man. So back to you. So this you're still in business with your product though, right?
I mean, yeah, I've absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've started a business. I've started to distribute, health products and bath products. It's a pretty well-known company. I mean, um, one of the companies that I distribute for is called Nutrilite. It's the number one selling, dietary supplement and vitamin company in the world. It's, organic farms
Through
and
Oracle
it's,
Health, right?
yeah, through Oracle Health, absolutely. Through Oracle Health is the name of the company. And
And
I mean,
and
essentially,
that's your company.
that's my company. That's the name of my company. I distribute health products, wellness products, as well as a bunch of other products. But like, it's a pleasure to be part of the number one, distributor of health and dietary supplements. A lot of people just don't appreciate health these days. That like that super size me, all that kind of like hype and everything back in the
Sure.
day.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of went away for a little while, and I think people are kind of getting back of this like we're very granola, but like we're really kind of still eating crap, and we think organic is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. So this
But
is you, right? This is you, right? Oracle Health.
yep, that's my website right there. Absolutely. Anybody that's interested in getting CBD sprays, masks, we got, the only sugar-free global selling energy drink, number one vitamin supplement company, as I mentioned. We've also got energy bars, uh, and we've got just a slew of household products you can get. And as a distributor, we run all kinds of different promotions every month, and we're just, trying to get people good stuff. The whole idea is, you know, I believe in good products. I believe in like quality health, and like most people want to go to Walmart and just give their money to Walmart or Target or whatever because they trust Walmart and Target. But if you do your own research, which most people don't, they just go in and buy whatever the Walmart Target is selling them.
Mm-hmm.
You would find out that there's good products and bad products, but just going to the store eliminates that whole selection process for most people.
Mm-hmm.
But as a distributor, I get to use my own products. I get to like experience all of them, then I get to talk about them, then I get to sell them, and then I get to like, go to small businesses and try to, get them interested in buying wholesale, large supplies of the product.
Sure.
And, it couldn't be a better time to be health conscious with everything
Of
going
course.
on, obviously. You know?
No, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
What are you drinking?
Drinking a little bit of red wine because I'm all about the health.
Antioxidants.
Shout out
Minerals.
resveratrol.
Yeah.
Shout out Malbec wine. Shout out Bodabox.
Shout out. I'm drinking
Hey.
I'm drinking a Russian coffee.
Russian coffee. Fuck the Russians. But yeah, just kidding. Russians are cool.
Cheap coffee with almond creamer, silk almond creamer, and a shot and a half of piss poor cheap plastic bottle vodka.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? We're actually in this little bit of a cheap oil market right now.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because the Russians wanted to try to stick it to the Saudis earlier this year, and basically try to make more money than the Saudis, who are the biggest producers of oil and make the most money. They try to basically undercut the Saudis, and the Saudis in one day, in response to the Russians trying to undercut them, increased their oil production by 30%, basically totally shitting on the Russians in one day and basically calling their bluff and beating them at their own game and saying, how are you going to fuck with the Saudis when it comes to fucking oil? You can't. But the Russians did that and lost again.
I mean, dude, you can be communist, you can be Democrat or Republican, you can be Chinese, Russian, American. Dude, this coronavirus, you can be Italian. This coronavirus is just blowing everybody out of the water. And so it's about stepping back and taking into perspective what it was that you were into. And I want to get back into, how this is affecting you, but take for example, me, I'm out of work. I've been basically furloughed in a sense because I'm full-time freelance in AV gigs, which involve events.
This guy's got a baby. He's allowed
I
to
got
check
a
his
baby.
phone.
I got a baby. Events, something that involves groups. And so that's been fucking shut down. So, all right, we got a problem. I gotta go check on the kid. What is that, bacteria?
That's COVID-19, bro.
That's COVID-19 right there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, I'm back on. If you're ready to get back on, what were you listening to?
About the Spanish flu. Killed 50 to 100 million people, man, in 25 weeks, which is what the amount of people that die from HIV was killed in 25 years.
Yeah. Spanish flu, my man.
Yep.
So yeah, like I was saying, I forgot where I left off actually, but
I think you left off at a soiled diaper, dripping poop all over.
that is true. So like I said, like I was saying, I mean, my AV, my film work, acting, it's all based on being around other people. Done, completely over. But luckily, I've got the National Guard, and the National Guard is going to get called out anytime soon.
They just got called out today.
Which one?
In New York, California, and Washington State.
So the New York National Guard's actually been working for the last week, maybe 2 weeks. I'm in the DC National Guard.
I know the president authorized and activated those three officially today on March 24th.
Probably on a mass scale. Now the DC National Guard has been asking for volunteers so far, so we haven't been mandatorily activated, like full res activated. But
put them weekend warriors to work, boy.
but I have chose to not volunteer just yet because I got the 3-week-old, and so I'm going to stick with that. But when they say no, it's mandatory, get your asses out here, of course I'll be first in line. But
it'll be a matter of time at some point. I mean, this is going to be a 6-month thing, most likely. Like, this is not going to be like a, I mean, the economic implications are probably much more long term, but the actual panic will definitely ensue for a good 6 months minimum, in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. So it is what it is. So luckily for me, you and I and TechFall, we've got the Sinister Infinite, we got Rogues Gallery, and so I've been editing. I got this short film that I produced a year ago. I finally got some free time, plenty of free time to start editing and put that out. The next 15 seasons of Sinister and Rogue, I'm working on all the scripts, and I'm just going to start editing the scripts to start shooting that whenever you and I and some other actors and Chris, aka TechFall, feel safe enough to meet and shoot those.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all about taking advantage of what you got and finding, what is it, the positivity in a quarantine. I've been catching up with a lot of TV, taking a lot of notes, jotting down, ideas for future opportunities, for future productions. And even this podcast, it's like you and I were discussing, a couple hours ago, like, what are we going to talk about in the podcast? Well, let's take advantage of the downtime, shoot the shit, start off just shooting the shit, see where it takes us, build on that and build on that and build on that, and then see whatever, man. I mean,
so this is my call, my challenge to you. You've got all this time in your hands right now. I mean, this is kind of a filmmaker's dream right now. You're locked inside. It's like, the ultimate writer's like dream. So you have to write something, you have to create something. You're stuck taking care of your recently born baby. Your wife's bedridden and quarantined also. So you've got family errands, you've got things to take care of around the house. But the rest of the day, you've got all the time right now that you'll ever have in your lifetime right now.
Oh yeah.
In a non-consistent way, where like you're not going to have it just for the weekend, or you're not going to have it for like a week because you're whatever. This is a indefinite opportunity to be like, all right, every single project I've ever been ready to really dedicate myself to, now you have an opportunity to really dive into, man. And that means all your partners, that means all the people you collaborate with. We also have a little bit more time. So to me, I'm taking this time to bunker down and start educating myself. Read, Never Split the Difference, finish The Compound Effect, read this book, Choose Your Perspective, The 10 Laws of Trust, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, shout out, amazing book. Finish a 4-hour work week, which I'm basically been done for like 6 months, but I've finished, and a handful of other books, and then take a bunch of courses I've been wanting to take and invest in myself, man. But for you,
this is script writing and project editing, post-production and pre-production orgy right now, being quarantined.
Can you send me something that you really like? You've got Rogues and you've got Sinister, and I understand most of the vision there. I mean, we've talked about enough, but I mean, I've barely jotted down screenplay ideas, but if this is an opportunity you wanted to write a screenplay, dude, I'm serious. I can write a screenplay with you. If you want to do this, we'll create a deadline. There's an app called Trello. You can create deadlines. You can create, you want to do a 12-chapter screenplay, or you want to write a story and then adapt it to a screenplay. We can create a deadline right now and put it into an app called Trello. and create ourselves accountable for this, and really time budget the crap out of a single project and write it and get it done and put it out, you know? So
Yep, absolutely.
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like
Okay.
I feel like
Yep.
because I've dedicated myself to my career path and not my creative like desires in life in the past 10 years, I've been juggling both, but more heavily on I've got to take care of the money thing and focus less on creativity. I feel like this is a once in a life opportunity we're not going to get again. So
Exactly.
I'm
Here's my
serious.
challenge to you. So I accept your challenge with I accept your challenge with screenplay ideas, outlines, putting together some outlines, and then scheduling, like trying to put together, trying to at least get a rough draft of a screenplay or two. Here's my challenge to you. All that music gear, all that production gear that you have in storage somewhere, what are the chances of you getting that to your house in the next week or so, getting it shipped? I know it might be a bit expensive getting it shipped here. And then once that shit gets to your house, you're going to have to Clorox wipe it or whatever. But that's my challenge to you.
The only way to do it was kind of my plan was, you know, unload a car out there, take a plane and drive it back. That's literally the only plan that I had to get that anyway, whether it was, I mean, involved with my before the coronavirus moved to Colorado, but
I mean, you know,
yeah, no, and that's honestly a week. That's probably not gonna happen, but a month. Yeah, I mean that's when I'm planning on pulling the trigger on that car anyway. So yeah, that's
in a
still
month, in a month, pulling a trigger on what now?
on getting on a plane, picking up a car, and driving it back.
Driving it back here.
Yeah.
So flying is out of the question. Where is your gear right now?
It's in Oklahoma City still.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. So, Oklahoma City.
I think it's about a 14-hour drive. $19-hour drive. Yep, I saw it there.
That's a 20-hour drive. So anywhere between 2 to 3 day drive out there. I mean, you could probably pull that off in 2 days at 10 hours nonstop driving, or 10 hours driving throughout the day. I mean, there's nobody on these fucking roads right now.
It's true. That's interesting.
And so you grab that shit and then you put it back, and that's another 2 days back. Driving out there, driving back, 2 days. Hey, dog, let me tell you something.
I could rent a car too. You just rent a car and do that.
You can rent. You could go to budget and rent, like, you know, a cheap car or something. Yeah. But you know, hey, dude, if I didn't have the kid,
I hear you.
I would go out there with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, something to consider.
That isn't a bad idea. I mean, I could do that on the weekend probably. Yeah.
But on the flip side is, I know you've got some connections out there.
It's too expensive to ship, man.
What's expensive?
The laptop. I mean, the MacBook and the speakers are heavy.
You don't need speakers. You don't need speakers.
Okay, we're gonna act like you know that I do need speakers. Not only do I need speakers, because everybody knows that, like, it's like saying you need a desk to like work on. I promise you do need speakers. But you know
I
what?
don't even have a
I
desk.
do
I
have a
moved all
fridge.
my stuff. I moved my entire edit suite into a different room,
It'd be like
and I
me
don't
telling
even
you,
have a
you
desk.
don't need a screen. You don't need a
You
screen.
need a screen, but you can
No,
have
no, no, no.
headphones. You
It'd be
can
like me
produce a
telling
track. You can
you
produce a
as a,
track with just
it'd be like
headphones
me telling you as a filmmaker, you don't need a screen. Is the equivalent of audio to speakers for me.
versus headphones.
Absolutely. You can't mix a goddamn thing in a fucking headphone. Not supposed to be done that way. It's fairly obvious. You would know that if film were not your medium. But the good news
Agree to
is
disagree.
the good. Well, I'm not going to
Because
tell you
look,
about film
this is my
ever.
little desk. I don't even have a desk anymore. This is my little desk, and I've been editing. I finished editing.
Do it without a screen, and that'll be
You need a screen, but I don't need speakers. I got headphones. You need even less. You don't even need a screen. You kind of need a screen to see
Well,
your.
no. If honestly, if there were like goggles, I could do goggles and speakers. I would still need speakers.
You don't need speakers. You need a headphone. You need a decent set of headphones.
I don't think you appreciate these giant SSO mixing boards they have in studios are only designed for what a speaker sounds like in a stadium. That's the only reason. It's because you've got mixes on.
If
on
anybody's
cars,
if anybody's watching this, if anybody's watching this podcast, Zombie SquadCAST, put in a comment. Put in a comment. You know,
that says you can mix music using
with the
only
headphones.
headphones.
Yes.
Please put the comment in there.
Yeah.
Please. I mean, there's zero credibility. Zero credibility in that statement.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, man.
I'm not selling it. It's a fact. Everybody knows it. There's not a soul on the planet who cares about music doesn't know that, but it's okay. I'll get it. That's actually a really good idea. I think now's a good time to do it.
I mean, now's a perfect time because still, I mean, it's like, dude, you don't have to have any contact with anybody. You don't have to like touch anybody. You don't really have to do anything to like involve yourself with other humans, except you go to this storage unit, you deal with that one guy there, you grab your shit.
I
You
could
throw
do
it in
some
the
business
trunk.
while I'm there too.
But the thing is, you can't fly out there, but you could rent a car. Okay, so now your hiccup is what? To go back to Colorado. What are your major hiccups? Having an automobile to go out there and
I'm not
live.
going out there now. There's no point.
So you're not going out to Colorado.
I would have loved to go back, but the coronavirus is literally the thing that changed the entire plan.
As opposed, okay.
Because by the time next January comes around, I'm gonna be making plans to move to Atlanta anyway. So it makes no sense to go to Colorado at this point. Just to be there for 8 months.
You're quarantined here. How does that affect you being quarantined there?
Well, there's no need to take on more economic risk and go and switch jobs.
Except for a 4-day, 5-day car ride to grab shit and bring it back.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely completely separate from what we're talking about. A great idea.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well,
that's the best idea. Like, I haven't thought about that. Just had a head down for the last 8 months just working. That's the best idea I've had or the best idea you've told me about for that since we had this conversation last, which was probably like 8 months ago. Yeah.
what you're saying, so driving out there and spending 5 days at the most, I could pull that off in 5 days or less.
Or less,
at the most, I could pull off driving to Oklahoma City, going to that storage unit, grabbing my shit, coming back. I could pull that off. I could pull that off at the most 5 days. I could probably pull that off in 4.
What's funny is that I've got a goal to sell some shit anyway.
I get that.
If I did it this weekend,
that's not my point. But hold on. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
The financial, the budget of that road trip, as opposed to you just having someone ship that shit to you and you paying for that. What's more expensive?
It would be cheaper. It would cost me more in time.
Okay. All right. Well, if you say so.
I mean, I've got to also close out that storage unit. It's going to cost me a cool G.
All right. Well, there's that. If you think a 4 to 5 day road trip out to that storage unit and back is cheaper than getting your shit shipped to you and closing out the storage unit via email, phone call.
I honestly think taking a flight would be safe now because nobody's flying.
No,
and that shit can only live on surfaces for like.
No, it's not safe.
I can tell you exactly how long
because still people are flying. And you're more at risk. You're more at risk catching it flying than you would be in your car, locked in your car, that you Clorox wipe yourself. You can Clorox wipe the entire inside of a car, and only get out of your car.
Cases,
and you only need to get out of your car. You have all your food. You have all your snacks.
82% of cases. Listen, I'll be with you. 82% of cases are mild, and we're all going to get it at some point. The only point of quarantining is so we slow down killing of people that have pre-existing health conditions over the age of like 50, 65.
The point is to catch
Even
it.
If I got it,
the point is to not catch it before the vaccine is because they're trying to like hurry up and rush the vaccine.
There's maybe a 0.1% mortality. I'm sorry, 1% mortality
rate
if I got it.
You're healthy. You're healthy, but you just got a regular flu like a month ago.
I don't see what that has to do with anything. If I got it,
you could still get the coronavirus. You can be healthy and still get the coronavirus.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that most cases are mild, especially for healthy people. I wouldn't mind getting it. It's not that serious. Seriously.
Okay.
You laugh about it, but I can tell you for a fact that 82% of cases are mild, and that unless I had a pre-existing condition of health, which I don't, most likely I'll have to self-quarantine for 14 days, and I'll come out of it ready for next year when it comes back even harder, because that's historically what these viruses do. When the Spanish flu hit in 1917, it wasn't the 50 to 100 million people that died in 1917 when it first hit. It was the second year when it came back even stronger.
Right.
It's going to be here. We're going to have to deal with
because
this
the flu that
one way or another.
The flu that we get now, like the regular flu that we get
Kill
now,
people.
is way stronger.
Right.
And if I had the flu right now, the regular flu right today, but I went and traveled back in time 100 years ago, that would kill people. That would kill people.
Yes, exactly, because our body didn't have immunization.
Those immunizations, and like my mom passed off immunizations to me through breastfeeding.
Exactly.
Or just by me being in her body, me being in her amniotic sac.
Yes. Let me show you what I mean here.
And you really should have your thing pulled up before you screen share, because I'm seeing everything and it's
amazing, right?
No,
changing your life.
The whole world is seeing everything.
So we could always edit it out. So here's the thing, right?
Ebola's worse. Yeah.
Here's all the interesting information. How deadly is it? Number 5 out of 7.
Seasonal flu. Right.
It's a little bit more deadly than the flu, right?
It's 10 times as deadly as the seasonal flu. Yeah.
Right. Now, but the seasonal flu originally was much more deadly. It's slightly more contagious than it's less contagious
than Ebola. It's more contagious than
the flu. Influenza.
Influenza
is the flu.
Oh, okay, that's the regular flu. So okay, yeah. So it's slightly more contagious than influenza, right?
Right. So basically, the biggest concern I think at this point is the fact that we don't have enough beds. I honestly don't.
We don't have enough test kits.
So, but
We don't have enough
again,
fucking test kits.
I want you to realize we don't know a ton about this novel coronavirus, but I want you to understand 82% of cases right now, despite all the death tolls, despite all these, numbers I could spew out at you right now that would scare the hell out of you, it's 82% of cases are relatively mild. Half of the people that are getting it are below like 50, 65 years old. The other half are elderly. The ones that are dying, an overwhelming large amount of people that are dying, the 28% that are, or I'm sorry, the 18% that are dying are old because they just have other shit that makes them immunocompromised. As of right now, this is not the most dangerous thing in the world.
Yes, old people's immune systems are weaker than others, yes. And that's why they're more susceptible. Yeah, absolutely.
But just to give you an idea, right? In America, it's starting to attack young people a little bit more. They're not really sure why, but 40% of patients are between the ages of 20 and 54. Okay, 12% of those patients are in the ICU, and they're between the ages of 20 and 44. So it's a little bit higher on the young person count here. Now you could argue that we are less healthy. The younger people are vaping more here. They vaped more in China. They vape more in or smoke and vape more in Italy. So that's likely why some of the younger people were getting affected there too, and the numbers are just higher. But a very small percentage of us will die. This will be part of our gene. It'll be part of our genes. We'll build, antibodies against it naturally, just like we did with the flu. But again, all those things at some point when they were novel, the novel flu, whatever, they killed millions and millions and millions of people. Like the Spanish flu killed as many people as was killed in world wars. I think World War One, it killed 50 to 100 million people. So that same flu that we have now, we have flu shots for. But over so many generations of passing it on, our bodies have just learned to fight it. And the flu is always trying to, influenza is trying to find new ways to kill us or infect us by mutating. But at the end of the day, it's most deadly when it's new. And even though it's new, it's only killing 18% of people that it touches, and half of those people are old and already pretty much not healthy as it is. It at this point, as serious as it might get, we don't know. Like nobody knows, right? I know the economic impacts are going to be devastating. I don't know that I'm scared of getting it per se, because I know that next year everyone's going to have it. Everyone.
So but they'll have a vaccine.
To get it.
That's the thing. They'll have a vaccine.
It might take more than a year to make a vaccine.
I think they're pumping more into this to get a vaccine sooner than a year. And I have faith that they're gonna. I actually have faith that they're gonna have a vaccine sooner than a year.
But again, the people that are most at risk are the people that are older, and if they've been exposed to it and lived through it already, they're going to be much less likely to die from it again. It'll be more like getting the flu the second time around, because the body's already been introduced and been given tools via antibodies to fight this thing. So if you live through it once, which is what everyone is going to, 70-80% of the world is going to get it now. By next year when it comes back in the wintertime, it's going to be bad for those who haven't already gotten it the first time, because that mutation will be stronger, and the person's body who's not used to having built immunities against it, it'll affect younger people or healthier people probably worse than it is now.
Right.
So I'm not saying get everybody sick, but herd immunity, will help people fight it over time. So the whole flattening the curve idea is so that we don't like let it get we don't let it affect too many people at once and then kill a bunch of people quickly. We want to slow it down so that we can quarantine those people who do get it, separate them from the population, and then give our herd immunity time to build. People who do get sick, get them around healthy people, and then realize that, like, you know, once people who've been sick with it have it, get around people that don't have it, it'll build more herd immunity. By the time it comes around again, we'll be better off. But the whole scare is just containing it at first. It's not because we're going to stop it. We're not going to stop this thing. It's going to get everybody sick at some point. The question is if we can slow down the immediate effects of it being so dangerous at first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of quarantining and trying to create social distancing. We're not stopping it. It's going to come. You know?
Right. Yeah, I understand.
Like, and this is all very new. Like, and I'm definitely not an expert on any of this, but I think it's pretty clear at this point that the biggest implications of this are going to be older people in the stock market and job loss and small business, you know, bankruptcies, you know, families that are already feeling the pinch, really feeling the pinch. Oil towns, you know, on top of this crisis are going to have a mass, you know, uptick in bankruptcy and loss of jobs, and there's going to be a migration of people leaving oil towns because of what's going on top of this crisis. We're basically hitting a very strong economic shift. You could call it a recession that's going to basically, you know, challenge people to figure out problems in ways that we normally use money to do that we're not going to have. Like, a lot of people are just not going to have, right? They're going to stop foreclosures from happening, but like, how do you get food if you don't have food? Like, you're going to have to get really resourceful about how you get food if there are shortages, which in some towns there are going to be shortages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a fact. The whole
this
supply
fucking
chain,
toilet paper bullshit.
that I think, but that's psychologically a very interesting point. The first thing people go to is, how am I going to wipe my ass? Like, you can wipe your ass with damn near anything. Why toilet paper? Like, that's a first world problem reaction to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
And
Like,
so, I mean, I saw, you know, a couple of posts, like everyone's grabbing alcohol, bleach, hand sanitizer, but leaving vegetables. And it's like, you know, grab some peppers, grab some onions, grab some avocados, build your immune system, oranges, vitamin C, emergency,
by the way,
orange juice.
if there
There was
are
so many
riots,
eggs. There was so much
by the
eggs
way,
and milk
fuck
left
orange
over.
juice. Fuck orange juice. Stop drinking
Fuck
orange juice. It's not what you think it is. Vitamin C is so much more abundant in so many other ways without the sugar. Don't be dumping tons of orange juice in your system because there's
Just
so
get
much
oranges.
sugar in that shit.
Just
You're
straight
gonna get
oranges.
diabetic trying to get vitamin C.
I know, man.
But people are gonna riot.
But you're right. But you know, you're right,
About.
because the thing is, one serving of orange juice is like 4 or 5 oranges. But all you need is one orange.
Right.
All you need is one. All you need is like one grapefruit, and a lot of times one healthy serving of grapefruit is actually a half a slice of a grapefruit.
Right.
Or one whole orange, or 2 halos, little mandarins.
Yes.
Plenty of vitamin C in that, and we gobble those up.
I gotta tell you, man, acerola cherries are the best source of vitamin C on the planet.
What is it?
It's called an acerola cherry. Okay, it's one of the most concentrated botanical sources of vitamin C.
Acerola cherry.
Acerola cherry. It is available in Neutralites Twist Tubes to go, which I do sell. Go to www.amway.com, my shop /Oracle Health, ORCLHEALTH.
I'll put it up there. Hold on.
Link in the description.
I'll put the link in the description. all the socials. But acerola cherry supplement. But
let's look it up here.
But hold on, I had the picture. Acerola cherry. You know, here you go.
This is the most concentrated.
I'm screen sharing.
Botanical source of natural vitamin C.
Oh, did I misspell it? I misspelled it. All right, so that's it. Acerola cherry. Acerola cherry.
Acerola cherry.
Well, anyway.
So like I was saying, my company Nutrilite twist tubes to go. We grow these acerola cherries in Ubiara, Brazil for 1.5 years in the nursery, then another 2 years in the orchard when the trees begin to bear fruit on 562 acres of organic farmland. This is the best source of vitamin C you're going to get in the planet, and I happen to sell it, and I happen to have a promotion going on right now where you're going to be able to get it for at least 10% off of what you'll get it for retail on the website. So email me at oraclehealth@gmail.com. Link will be in the description. Email will be in the description. That's another way you can email me at Oracle Investments.
Connect with Donnie D here, or here, Oracle Health, aka Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. But yeah, there's so many ways to stay healthy right now, man. But I don't think looting and rioting at a liquor store is the way to go. So just don't do that, America.
Looting or rioting at a liquor store?
Don't do that. There's no vitamin C.
Or a grocery store?
If you're gonna loot at the grocery store, take all the acerola cherries. That's all I'm saying. Good luck finding them. They don't really exist.
I just need diapers and baby wipes.
I mean, yeah. What's your take as a dad on this whole thing?
So, I mean, like I was saying before, I'm in the National Guard, so I'm waiting to get that mandatory activation. My institution, the DC National Guard, they've had a couple of small little pockets of guys going out there, directing traffic, blocking off streets, doing their duty, and I joined the National Guard to do my duty, but at this point, if the kid was 1, 2, 3 years old, kind of somewhat self-sufficient in a way to where the kid could eat apples and drink milk.
Oh, you've got time.
And eat oatmeal on his own.
Give it 5 years.
But the wife is still recovering from the birth. Still has a scar.
How long is recovery time for childbirth?
Well, she had a C-section. She didn't have a vaginal birth. She had a C-section because the kid's so freaking big. She went into labor way early.
She got Nelson right out the gate.
So the doctor was like, emergency C-section right away. 1.5 to 2 weeks early, the kid was born.
That's pretty normal.
And the kid was huge. The kid came out 10 pounds, way bigger than they had expected. So the surgery was pretty intense on her. And so we're in week 3. The kid's about 3 weeks old, and she's still, she still has sutures. Since the C-section, it was in the lower abdomen. So she's still, physically recovering from the C-section.
Yeah.
My kid's 3 weeks old. So I got to put the kid and the wife first and foremost. But if the unit says, later on, hey, look, mandatory, DC National Guard wide, mandatory, you got to mount up and show up and do this, that, and the other thing for the city. I'm there. But as of right now, it's like, I gotta stay home with the wife and kid,
Yeah. Speaking of the wife, I hope she's using the pomegranate mask I sent her 3 days a week, because that thing is gonna make her face feel so stress-free, and ton of pomegranate antioxidant loveliness in there.
She definitely has it on the agenda to do that, but I can tell you right now, with all the other stuff going on,
she hasn't used it. No, I mean,
I don't even, honestly, I don't. Yeah, she's like, she's breastfeeding. New moms are breastfeeding. They're breast pumping breast milk.
Yeah,
dude, we have to feed this kid like every 2.5 hours, and every feeding there goes in burping, diaper change, probably change his clothes. The kid pisses through the diaper and pisses through his clothes. Maybe every 3rd time we change the diaper. So we got to change his whole clothes. We do 1 load of laundry for the kid every other day. We do 2. We run the dishes twice a day. We wash his clothes every other day. I'm doing a load of laundry on myself because he burps all over my stuff. I'm doing a load of laundry probably every 2 to 3 days of my stuff and her stuff. Maybe every other day, me and her are washing it. We just decided, fuck it, we're washing our clothes together. And I think we do a load of his stuff every other day. So so added up, just about every day is a load of laundry, is a load of laundry. Twice a day is the dishes. I'm taking out probably a bag of trash every day and throwing it, in the trash cans. And then it's like, okay, put on a fucking face mask. She's going to use it.
Every time I see somebody with a face mask, I want to slap them across the face because, well, I'm not going to get into this whole thing, but we do not need face masks unless you feel like you have the fucking novel coronavirus. There's no need. Even if you had a face mask on and someone sneezed
I'm
on
talking
you.
about I'm talking about the mask that you gave her.
Oh, perfect. That mask is way better.
Yeah, I know, but she has not even thought about it because of the 17 other things we're doing. Oh, we wear masks. We went to Kaiser. We have Kaiser, and we took the kid to the pediatrician. We wore masks. I have high tech. Yeah, they do. They do. Dude.
I've been told by a doctor I work with that doesn't do anything. Several times over, I've been told this.
So, okay. So, granted, let's say he's right. Let's say he's right.
They're both she's.
Or she. Let's say they. Good call. Let's say they're right, and it doesn't do anything. What's the harm in wearing it anyway?
Just foolish, like just looking dumb. There really is no harm in it. Don't hurt you either way.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't hurt me to wear it.
No, wear sunglasses too. I mean, at nighttime, whatever makes you, happy. That's enough for you, bro.
Blinding starlight, man.
Yeah, be a rock star. Why not?
All right. So, what do you want to sign off with, man? Socials. Promote anything you want to promote.
Yeah. So a few things. So, if anybody is looking to add a little bit of extra immunity into their life, I'm currently running a campaign for strengthening your immunity, selling a bundle that consists of an immunity pack. It's a 20-day supply of an immunity pack that has echinacea and vitamin C, as well as other phytonutrients, and also a 6-month supply of hand soap that has white tea extract, which is effective for boosting immunity function, of skin cells, protecting against all kinds of foreign free radicals, and also so it's a soap, immunity pack, and twist tubes, like vitamin C twist tubes, all for $70. You can go to www.amway.com/myshop/Oracle Health. That's ORCLHEALTH.
Links below. Yep.
Link below in the description. Check that out. It's a $70 bundle. I put it at 10% off just because I really do want people to see the value in this product. And there's no better time to be worried about your family's health and getting as much immunity building strength, so we can fight this thing as a herd. So check that out. And then of course, My Wound Management, Patients of Podcast. Be sure to follow Patients of Podcast on Facebook, YouTube. Follow Patients of Podcast on Instagram. Follow My Wound Management Instagram. Check out Get On Pictures. We have Rogues Gallery and Sinister Infinite. All the links below. We got new episodes coming out for season 2 of both of those, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, what was it? Zombie SquadCAST?
Zombie SquadCAST.
I love that, dude.
I was taking a shit and I came up with a great idea.
It's the best places you're gonna ever get ideas, taking a shit and being in the fucking shower. I never think of anything good when I'm not in the shower, so I know taking a shit is the next.
I gotta get a waterproof little voice memos thing in the shower and be like, boop, Zombie SquadCAST.
You do need to do that immediately.
So
Also, Judo Chop.
you were talking to Mickey and you were talking to Nelson. I know it says Dan right here, but he goes by Mickey now. All right. That's pretty much it, man. So this is our premiere quarantine episode of Zombie SquadCast. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully this wasn't boring and it's not like corny with the weird backgrounds we're doing, but stay tuned for more eps.